upcoming trials at the International Criminal Court have moved a notch higher. The prosecutor's office has now released a list of witnesses who will testify against Kenyan 4 suspects that include presidential hopeful Uhuru Kenyatta and his running mate William Ruto. 43 witnesses will testify against William Ruto and radio journalist Joshua Sang, while 31 witnesses will testify against Uhuru Kenyatta and former head of the civil service Francis Muthaura. But as KTN's Dennis Onsarigo reports, the prosecutor is expressing frustrations that the government has not fully cooperated with the court.
Brace yourself for a long trial. That is the message coming from the ICC as the chief prosecutor, Francis Muthaura, is projecting more than 2 years on the prosecution stand for each of the 2 Kenyan cases at the International Criminal Court. The ICC prosecutors formally submitted before the ICC judges a list of witnesses she seeks to call during the trials of 2 presidential candidates, Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta, his running mate, Eldoret North Member of Parliament William Ruto, former head of public service Francis Muthaura, and former radio presenter Joshua Sang. While submitting a list of witnesses' material evidence, which include both audio and video, the ICC chief prosecutor told the trial judges her office might be forced to amend her list of witnesses and evidence in the event individuals she seeks to interview are allowed to grant her team of investigators a date. But the chief prosecutor was in the past expressed concerns over the manner in which the Kenyan government has handled its expressed cooperation with the Hague-based criminal court. Now says, even though the Kenyan government has in the past agreed on paper that it's willing to fully cooperate with the international court, our office is now seeking help from other quarters. In our statement, the ICC prosecutor says in part, the prosecution has already approached several state parties, including the government of Kenya, in order to gain access to such individuals and materials. Discussions regarding the terms and conditions of such access are still ongoing. The prosecution wants the Kenyan government to allow it to interview government officials and journalists who covered the post-election violence and gain access to documents including medical, financial and official records repeatedly requested from the Kenyan government, but as of this date not provided.
The chamber wants to hear
In the case of William Ruto and radio presenter Joshua Sang, 41 witnesses and 3 experts have been lined up, and the court estimates it will take 826 hours of court time. The court will be sitting for at least 4 hours a day. That means the prosecution will take at least 206 days. The defense could need similar days or more to cross-examine the witnesses.
I need to have the full knowledge of those allegations.
Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta and the former head of public service, Francis Muthaura, have lined up 31 witnesses. The prosecutor says she will need at least 572 hours to put up its case. This means the prosecution will need at least 143 days. The defense will need similar time or more. The 2 presidential candidates, William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, have assured their supporters the running of government will not be affected in the event they are elected into office. Dennis Onsarigo, KTN, Nairobi.